Hello, it's Oren Prunken, and today I want to talk to you about why helping prospects save face is a really great sales strategy. So I have been cold pitching a product that I've got, and I've done a whole lot of cold pitching over the years and decades, everything from cold calling charities for something that you don't get anything physical in exchange for, all the way to what I'm doing now is cold pitching and cold calling for product sales, so we actually get something tangible back for the pitch. So I did a podcast on this method before, and I'm not going to go into the great details of how I go about cold contact, cold pitching, and cold calling, but it starts off with asking for a referral for the correct title or person or role that you are ultimately after, the decision maker, the person who has the ability and the willingness to pay for it, and what you should be aiming for, the conversion rate for contacting initially and then asking for that referral internally within the organization you're trying to contact should be around about 40% or more. If you're not getting that kind of conversion rate, you're doing something wrong. So when you've actually got that person, the person with the correct role or title within the organization, what you're looking forward doing next is actually going and suggesting to them that you have a solution to a problem that they have. Now, if you've matched up the market with the need, so the person with the problem that has the correct title or role, you should actually be getting about 60% conversion rate here from that initial 40. So if you're not getting more than half of the people respond saying, we are trying to solve this and we're trying to solve this in a new and different way, you're doing something wrong. You're either your product doesn't actually solve the need for that customer. It may solve a need for another customer cohort, but just not the one you're contacting. So there's a mismatch between the market, or you actually just got the person you're trying to contact incorrect to start with. So again, there's a mismatch there. So then once you've got responses back from people, and usually, as I said, 60%, so more than half will get back to you saying, yes, they are looking for a solution that you have, then you go into actually pitching the product. And this is where most people with cold calling, cold pitching start with. They just open up the conversation with, will you buy, or the equivalent type messaging. So it's only at that point you should be, where you've got the permission, you should be actually pitching that product. And if you're not getting more than about 15-20% conversion rate from that initial 60, you're doing something wrong. So 1 in 5 should be getting back to you saying, yes, please tell us what that product is. So with that context in mind, I've been going through this process and getting, really phenomenal feedback and results in terms of those conversion rates I was talking about. And I'm getting people obviously coming back and saying, yes, we're interested in this solution, and I'm going into and pitching the product. Now, the scenario that pops up sometimes is some of these prospects already have a solution that solves the problem that they have. But I, on the other hand, think the way they are solving it is really poor. Now, this is not just my opinion. I'm not going to go into the industry or the product that I'm selling, but I know from public testimonials, usage rates, feedback, that kind of thing, that the product that they're using doesn't actually solve the problem. So it's not just me. The market is also saying that what they're currently solving it with doesn't actually do the job. So what I actually offer, the product I'm offering, gets the same outcome for them. So this is a really important point. I get the same outcome for them, but just the way we go about it, my product versus the product they're already using, does it in a different way. It's a different mechanism to getting there. The destination is the same, but the path, in other words, to get there is really, really different. Now, this is a really crucial point. So when you're selling, what you want to do is focus on the difference in terms of that path to that the ultimate outcome. Now, the outcome is going to stay the same. You've got a problem, you want to get to some sort of outcome as a prospect. Now, the way you get there is the critical and crucial part for when you're selling. Now, if I went to them and said, you have a product, I have a product. Now, my product is either better, it's faster, it's stronger, or it's easier, and so on. What that prospect would need to do is admit they had made a mistake in what they had already purchased and invested. In other words, what I'm saying by saying to them and communicating that what I have is better or faster or stronger or easier is what they purchased was not as good, was not as fast, was not as strong, and was not as easy as what I've got. Now, if you notice, all of those words I used end in ER. And anything ending in ER suggests it's an improvement on what already exists and what they've already got. Now, the problem here with offering an improvement is it requires someone, that being this prospect, to actually go and admit to themselves and admit publicly that their current product or their current service or their current solution that they chose is wrong. Now, very few people are going to do that, as it shows they made a poor decision, especially within an organization, for someone to admit to themselves and admit publicly within their organization that the product, service, or solution they chose initially was the wrong decision, because there is something else that's better, faster, stronger, easier. No one is going to do that unless, no one's going to do that, but very few are going to do that because it shows that they made a wrong decision. Now, unless you are a master of helping people save face and allowing them to admit that they were wrong so they can try something new, it's a really hard skill set, and very few people can do that, and very few salespeople can do that. And you know, I've been doing sales marketing for a very long time, many decades, and not even someone like me can't do it each and every time. It's just a really, really hard thing for you as an external person to help someone overcome. Now, there are some alternatives, so it's not all doom and gloom. I'm going to give you two alternatives. So one way is to actually change the current product, service, or solution with something different. Now, I've already said this before. So the difference comes in new or novelty. And by definition, this is what innovation is all about. And if you can offer something that changes that current solution, so what they've got, and you just change it, change the way or the path they're getting to that outcome, it really means that prospect abandons and replaces that original. So for example, if I was to give you an example in the automotive industry, if someone was to, they have a prospect has a Toyota, for example, Toyota car, they could then abandon that and replace it with a motorbike. Motorbikes and cars, they both get a prospect to an outcome, a destination, a literal physical destination, but just the way they get there is different. One is on a two-wheeler and the other is in a four-wheeler. Completely different ways of getting there. So that's one way of helping people save face, is to change what they currently have. The other way is to complement what they currently have. So their current product, service, or solution, if you complement that with something different, novel, or new or unique. And what this really means is the prospect keeps the product, service, or solution they have, and they still use it, but they also have something else in addition to that. You're not focusing on better, stronger, faster, easier in this instance, but you are complementing it. So for example, you get to keep the Toyota car, so when you drive to work Monday through Friday, but then you also, in addition, get a motorbike that you can do weekend cruises on. So what this also really acts as is a next sell, but it's just provided by you, not the original seller. So in that same example of the Toyota and a motorbike, not a Toyota for a motorbike, so with a Toyota and a motorbike, what you're really doing is you're doing a next sell to the original sale. If a car dealership also sold motorbikes, they could say, you've already bought a Toyota car off us previously, would you like now, a year later, a motorbike? That's what it also that's what it also acts as a next sell, but just by a different provider, that being you. So to conclude all of this, when you're getting some sort of sales objection, you should really be looking at the reason why. And to sum this all up, I'm going to give you 4 reasons why and then how you can deal with it. So almost like a flow chart. So if the reason why you're getting an objection is because that prospect has a product, service, or solution already, if you offer a change, that's the most ideal situation. So offering a change of what they've already got. Now, if the reason you're getting an objection is because that prospect has a product, service, or solution that doesn't work at all, again, offering a change is the ideal situation and solution you should be providing. Now, if it's because that prospect has a product, service, or solution that works somewhat, what you really want to be doing is offering a complementary solution in this scenario. And then finally, the 4th example I want to give you is if the objection you're getting from the prospect is because they have a product, service, or solution that does work and it works well, all you really want to be doing in this situation is wishing them well and moving on to your next prospect. As I said, it's really hard to change those people's mind and help them save face, even if you're a really experienced marketer and salesperson. So hopefully that gives you some ideas of why helping prospects save face is a great sales strategy and how you can go about doing that for your brand. So I love hearing from people, their feedback as they implement this stuff. Likewise with this, I would love to hear how you go with, initially, as I said, cold pitching and cold calling and cold contact and what some of your conversion rates are. And then when you've got to that point, and if you get any objections, how you handle them and how that improves given the guidelines I've given you today. So until we talk next time, I hope you have a fantastic day and goodbye. Thanks for listening. And if you like what was on here and want more, please go to orenprunken.com.